Can a retired accountant survive in a Warzone all on his own? Well, that's what I set out to find out. Anton is an old man, very frail and slow, unable to fight particularly well, but is good at maths, and so is the perfect candidate to start this challenge for me. Over the course of the next 19 weeks, I'll be taking each and every character from this war of mine through their own personal hell, so please do subscribe if you want to support this challenge. So the game starts and Anton begins running around trying to gather as many resources as he can. He even builds himself some rudimentary tools to get to the attic and the basement. At nighttime, he heads out to the nearby shelled cottage to try and gather some materials. The next day or two follow the same method until he meets another soul on day 3. The trader Franco will be Anton's only friend as he is not allowed to take in any helpers in this challenge. He gratefully takes most of Franco's components and uses them to upgrade his workbench. Even on day 3, he's almost at the one thing that his skills will help him with in the Warzone. Before we get to that though, Anton ventured out and found a man looking for medicine for his sick father. Anton graciously provided him medicine, and he gets a hatchet in return, which starts him on the process of destroying furniture to barricade up his home. While he's busy doing that, I should explain the challenge in more detail. Each character will have to survive 30 days, where each item and buildable thing has a score value, and you can get extra points for being nice and giving things away. Stealing from good people or dying early will reduce your score. The idea for each character is to get the highest score possible. Each character has a special ability that may help with that, as I alluded to Anton's earlier. Anton is a good mathematician, but he is also a great trapper of rats. So when we set up our traps on day 4, he'll get a better return than any other character would. As raw food is worth 3 points a pop, this should massively benefit him. Unfortunately, on day 6 we realise that we can only get 2 traps as a maximum in the game, which really does hamper his strategy. From day 6 we then pivot towards alcohol, which is a bit harder to make, but does give 5 points a pop instead of 3. This starts relatively well, and despite a few raids here and there, we make our first bottle on day 7. This should be a fruitful plan, so we keep looking out for sugar as we go out and scavenge. Unfortunately, our priorities shifted very quickly, and Anton is now stuck in a war zone in the middle of an outbreak of crime. With raids only going to get more frequent, he goes to the supermarket, where he has heard that there are some soldiers camping out. Maybe he can grab a gun. Upon arriving, his luck is out. There is only one soldier, and he doesn't seem to want to lose his gun. Anton did bring the hatchet though, so it's time to fight. The soldier is approaching a young woman with problematic interests, and so Anton takes initiative and attacks, saving the young woman while dealing maximum damage to the soldier. The soldier tries to fight back, but thankfully Anton's hatchet is quicker, meaning he can get the gun that he needs, while taking a power-mad soldier off the streets. The outbreak of crime proved tough for Anton, as he keeps trying to guard the shelter while also making as much booze as he can, including building a water collector for renewable water. Unfortunately, by day 11 it has become a lot, and he's now severely wounded in a raid despite having the gun and full barricades. We decide our best method is to go out and take all of our valuables with us so they can't be nicked, which works. Day 12 brings a curb on crime, which allows us to start the healing process. The next 3 days show an improvement, with Anton moving back to just being wounded and getting food caught in his traps. But by day 15, the temperature has started to drop, and despite making a heater, Anton becomes severely ill and we're out of meds. He returns to the supermarket looking for meds to feel better, but only herbal ones are available, and they won't be that helpful in his current state. To make matters worse, a raid while we were out means we lose a lot of stuff. Proper meds appear to be at a shortage for everyone, with Franco coming without any. We can even try to go to the garage to try and trade bandages for meds, but they aren't having that at all. We could have stolen, but the score penalty for stealing would be harsh, and so Anton returns home without them. Days 18 and 19 were intense for poor Anton. With no medicine, he is trying to feed himself as much as possible, giving him as much strength as he could possibly need to try and fight off this disease. He ends up depressed on day 19 before things get even worse. Day 20 brings in the winter, which is a step too far for Anton. He succumbs to his illness, and despite making it 2/3 of the way through the challenge, he is now defeated. Given that he is one of the weaker characters, this was quite an impressive feat from him, and he has ended up with a score of 116, mostly coming from his furniture and his weapons and tools. Unfortunately, him not surviving to the end means he does lose 5 points, plus an extra 1 for each day he missed. This drops him down to a final score of 101. Where do you think he'll fall in the final standings? Subscribe to find out at the end of the series. Next week, it will be the cat burglar Arika's turn to try and survive. Ta-ra.